Anyway, so Tom Elliott, who I love, I follow on Twitter. He's a great Twitter follow because he puts up these supercuts, as he calls them, of just like what the media said back then. I don't know how he gets all these clips together, but it's a great Twitter follow. I enjoy checking his feed a lot. And so, yeah, he posted this one here. Let's play this. This is just a good reminder to people. It's nice to look back sometimes and just see this stuff. So, by the way, at the time when me and you, Rob, again, pat ourselves on the back here, because we're fucking, we're just a couple of idiot comedians, but we're better than all these people in suits on CNN. And at the time when we were telling you, yeah, this all looks legitimate and blah, 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 this is a real news story. And yeah, there's all this tech censorship and this is all bullshit, and telling you, no, all of these intelligence agencies are lying to you. This is not Russian disinformation. This is really Hunter Biden's emails. This is what the fucking corporate press was saying.
There's no evidence that Hunter Biden has done anything wrong.
There is no evidence of any wrongdoing between by Joe Biden, or by Hunter Biden.
There's no evidence that Joe Biden actually did anything wrong or did anything to sway things in Hunter Biden's favor. He's denied that his son ever lobbied him for anything.
There is nothing wrong that Vice President Biden did.
President Trump has falsely accused your son of doing something wrong while serving on a company board in Ukraine. I want to point out there's no evidence of wrongdoing by either one of you.
There is no evidence that anybody did anything illegal regarding the Bidens and Ukraine, and Joe Biden was carrying out U.S. policy.
President Trump wanted dirt on Joe and Hunter Biden. Trump's claims about wrongdoing here are unsubstantiated. We have looked, lots of outlets have looked.
Hunter Biden did nothing wrong. Vice President Biden did nothing wrong. And every single media outlet has said that there's no there to these allegations, lies, and smears.
PolitiFact found no evidence to support the idea that Joe Biden advocated with his son's interests in mind.
It's true that there's no evidence of any wrongdoing by Vice President Biden or that Hunter Biden broke any laws at all.
What it confirms is that Hunter Biden is a person of integrity.
Hunter has done nothing wrong.
I've never read a memoir like this one before. This is Hunter Biden's book, Beautiful Things. It's breathtaking.
There is no evidence of any wrongdoing by either Joe or Hunter Biden.
A bogus investigation of Joe Biden and Hunter Biden.
Let's be clear, Hunter Biden didn't do anything illegal, and his father, the vice president, didn't do anything illegal or unethical.
It demonstrates the lifetime of integrity that have been represented by the Bidens for their entire careers.
My son did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong.
So here's interesting about this. Just when you see, this is why I love following Tom Elliott and seeing these clips. It's like when you see it all put together like that, it's a little bit revealing, isn't it? This is the strategy. This is how the game works. It's not a coincidence that all of these people, both basically all of the major figures in the corporate press, surrogates for the campaign, and then at the end, the president of the United States himself, all just happened to say the exact same phrase. Repeat it over and over and over again. Hunter did nothing wrong. Joe Biden did nothing wrong. No laws were broken. Nothing wrong. Everyone confirms nothing wrong. It's like, it's hypnotic in a way. You know what I mean? Like they really just keep saying it over and over and over again. Now, the claim that no laws were broken might be true. The claim that nothing wrong was done, that's a stretch. But all of that's kind of beside the point. I mean, the point is that what's going on here is that clearly, like, this is clear corruption. Clear, And come on, don't tell me that if they found out that, if they found out that, Ivanka Trump was getting millions of dollars from all of these Russian companies, do you really think the response of all of those same people would have been, well, she did nothing wrong and no laws were broken, nothing wrong, no laws, nothing wrong, no laws? Or would the story have been, what's going on here? Why is Russia gaining all this influence? Right? Like, it's just so obvious. Like, this is very clearly all of them lining up to protect their, to protect their guy. And of course, at the same time, just to be clear, and I'll let you talk in a second, sorry, Rob, but at the same time, like as you were talking about, this is the 1-2 punch. And then all the social media companies banned the link. You couldn't even direct message it to somebody. So they froze they froze the New York Post's account who broke the story. They banned the link so you couldn't share the story. So all you're able to hear, for at least a large number of people, all you're able to hear is this. Again, nothing wrong, no laws broken, nothing wrong. Everyone confirms. It's interesting when you see it. Like, this is how the game works. I'm sorry, go ahead, Rob.
No, I mean, there's an outside possibility, and we actually discussed this at the time, that Hunter Biden actually did nothing wrong. He's an incredible salesperson, and what he is he's selling these people on the idea that he can peddle influence, and he actually can't. And he's literally scamming people out of hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, pretending as if he will do illegal activities that he will never do. And that's a possibility that he's the world's greatest salesperson and he figured out some incredible racket. That's probably not the case, but it's a possibility. But when you end up with a laptop that's showing that Chinese energy companies have paid $3 million to a person while he's in debt. There's reference to Joe Biden as being the big guy. There's clear conflicts of interest. How do you not start having a conversation of, like, if you're a media company and you're looking to run news stories, how is it not an interesting story of, do we have the children of politicians making millions of dollars on what could be massive? Like, how is that not just interesting? If you're a news organization, you got to create news coverage. Firstly, you would think that that's a very interesting question at a minimum, and it's also an important question. And how widespread is this? How many children of political figures are in positions where perhaps they are peddling influence? Is there a possibility that the Chinese Communist Party has actually bribed the biggest politicians in our country? Like, there's incredible things that are, firstly, if you're a news organization, you got to sell pages, you need viewers. So this is the most interesting story, right? So you would just think, even if it turned out to just be false, think about the field day you could have for 3 months looking into it. But it's also just an incredibly important question. So that to me is like kind of the bigger scandal. It's like, it happens to be, there is a possibility that Hunter Biden's a great salesperson. But the idea that you would just not investigate it and assume that is insanity.
Well, the possibility that you're referring to is essentially that he's a fraud. Like, he would be,
great,
like,
good for him.
Right. No, I'm not even saying, like, yeah, you can debate like the ethics of it or whatever, but even that would kind of be a newsworthy story. It's like, he's pretending he can sell access to his file. However, that it is possible, I'll grant you, seems highly unlikely. And seems, based on what we know of Hunter Biden, would take more competence than I think has been demonstrated.
Also, to look into that story and then showcase the ethics of the, like, why are you allowing your son to go out in the world and scam other companies for millions of dollars off your name? So, like, that doesn't, wash him completely of innocence. That's still worth the coverage.
Right. And also, in addition to that, and by the way, but if you really look into it too, like this Burisma company, like, they were basically, what the whole thing is
bought protection.
Well, that's right. So they were in tight with the government that was overthrown by the Western sponsored coup in 2014 in Ukraine. And so when the new government came in, they were like, oh shit, like a little bit concerned because the government they were in tight with just got overthrown. And so in order to buy favor, rather than even bribing the government, they just went right to the source. And we're like, oh, okay, well, this is what we'll do. And I got to say, like, I got little kids, so it's kind of hard for me to put myself in this situation, but you'd have to think, right? And this is like that at the very least, what you'd have here is a massive conflict of interest. You know what I mean? Like that the fact that how could any parent, even if you were not connected to the money, you're not getting the money, you're not involved in the deal, you're not aware of what your kid's doing exactly, but you know that there's a company giving your kid millions of dollars that's very in bed with their government. I mean, wouldn't that have to have like some effect on how you'd think about policy toward that company or something? You know what I mean? Like if you know that someone's really, look, dude, if you fucking knew that if there was some guy who worked out a deal with me that was giving me millions of dollars, and you knew that this guy was giving me millions of dollars, would that not affect the way you treated that guy? Is that like, wouldn't you, just as like a good friend of mine, feel kind of like a thing, like if you were ever making a decision about whether you should do something this guy likes or doesn't like, you'd be like, this guy's giving your friend like millions of dollars. Don't you? You kind of want to make him happy, right? So imagine your child. I mean, like it's all so that you just can't get to a point logically where you wouldn't argue that like this is inappropriate, and even if this is rampant and widespread, and even if this isn't illegal, this shouldn't be happening.